Time etched its story upon the cosmos, there existed a realm where legends were born, a universe bathed in the shimmering light of infinite possibilities, where each twinkling star whispered tales of heroes and their odysseys. Welcome to a journey where galaxies collide and destinies are forged in the crucible of time itself. Welcome to Legends by Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass.
Assemble and use your powers to defend and break free.
Today. Located inside Rider Excursion at the Esplanade Mall, we handle both small and large orders with speed and precision. For fast, quality t-shirt printing, call Instaprint at 473-422-1011. Get your perfect print today at Instaprint. Printing done in an instant.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Club. Now, it's a terrific Tuesday, and you've got to take it by the horn and ride it for the rest of the week. Now, I said terrific Tuesday, but to some of you, it is a terrible Tuesday. But let me just remind you, you've got this. You woke up this morning, you have the breath of life. You can overcome, you can conquer anything in your part. I always remind you to find the greatness within yourself. Now, I always tell you all that I wake up in the morning and I journal. And I usually journal in this book. I usually write the things that I am grateful for. So I wake up very early where, I'm not hearing the noise of the cell phone. I ain't reaching for the cell phone first to see what's going on or what happened on Facebook. I want a clear mind where, I'm talking to Papa God and I'm also reflecting on the things that I'm grateful for. Now, this book, the front of it says, when people show you who they are, believe them. Now, let me tell you something. This does be in my face every morning. And I feel this morning like I just need to take it and hit myself on the head with it because sometimes I keep forgetting that. But we're going to talk about that when it comes to what irks Kirk. But let me tell you what I am grateful for this morning, and some of you might laugh. I'm grateful, first of all, for the breath of life, that God woke me up this morning, so there is something that I have to do today. I am grateful for the competition within the supermarkets. And let me tell you why. You might laugh at that. But you don't want to know why I'm grateful? I'm grateful for the competition, and I'm grateful for the marketing things that is happening because of competition, that when I put on Facebook, I ain't only looking to mind people's business. I'm looking for the deals. Because in these times where things so hard, the price of energy is up, so everything up, bread, everything up. I had to look for the deals. So I just look at real value deals. I just watch RAM deals. I just look and see what all the other supermarkets has as deals. So knowledge is power, and I'm better able to stretch the little dollar that I have. I'm also grateful for the talent that God has blessed me with and the opportunity to better that every single day and to improve myself every day. I am thankful for the good and bad people in my life, the lessons and the blessings. Sometimes we count only the blessings, but the lessons are really good for us, Some of them bad people that you encounter, some of them wicked people that you encounter, they are blessing you with a lesson. So you learn from it. You learn to run for the highway, you learn to run for the mountain, or you learn how to deal with different things and different circumstances. And I'm also grateful for my babies, my two dogs, Bella and Lola. So folk, remember, it is important to express gratitude. Get a little book and journal it. Wake up early and give God thanks. Some of you this generation only want to roll out of bed 10, 11 o'clock. I don't understand that. But maybe that is depression and anxiety, but we're going to talk about that a little later on. But folk, we have a fantastic program this morning. I have a dynamic duo, and this morning I learned that they are first cousins. Didn't know they were first cousins. One of them I went to school with, and that is Bernadine Andrew, my very good long time since IFE days, National College days friends. And let me tell you something, when you meet good people, those good people remain good people for life because you could tell that they have a good energy about them. Okay, so I'm happy to chat with Bernadine. And also, I recently became friends with a phenomenal woman. Her name is Sheena Barry, and she recently represented us at Mrs. Curvy Globe. So we're going to talk to her about that experience, and what's next. So, folk, we take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about what irks her.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Welcome back, folks. And let me talk this morning about what irks me. Now, first of all, let me try to act. I don't be able to act for long. So when I break out a character, because I'm going to try to be as soft as possible in how I deliver what I'm delivering about what irks her. Now, let me tell you something. I have a producer. His name is Junior George. He can be a little messy at times in a good way, because sometimes he takes a little clip out of the program and, he puts it up on social media. Sometimes he finds something that he finds either informative, something he finds might be throwing a little shade, and he puts it out there. Now, that is the world that we're in. I can't vex about it. But some of all, you get vexed because some of you all were so sensitive about me speaking about Spice Mass that you all decide to pick up the phone and call me to tell me all kind of thing about what I should and should not be saying. Now, you realize I'm very calm because I'm trying something different. But I don't know how long it will last because maybe the old Kirk might run out of himself. Now, let me tell you something. This is not CNN. Okay? It is not even Fox News. This is a podcast. This is a blog. And of course, I speak about things that are shared with me by the population. So if the vendor call me and complaining that Mr. Sita Hall, okay, and sometimes they don't have all the information. Mr. Sita, why it is they raise the vending fee for $800? I will talk about it. If the band leaders call me and they say how you want to charge them for this or you want to charge them for this, I will talk about it. I even had to watch over the clip to see if really and truly I was bashing you all, and I don't think all you understand what bashing is. Or maybe you're all too sensitive. You're trying to tell me I can't speak on stuff, or that I should call the office to find out stuff. No, I'm not CNN. I am not an investigative journalist. I can be, but let me tell you something where I think you're really lacking. If you're looking at this program, no, first of all, let me say what I have to say. Not everybody on Spice Mass I have a problem with. Okay? I have a very good relationship with the chairman, Mr. Kurt Ross. He will pick up the phone and call me and say, hey, so forth, so forth. Oh, hey, I didn't like so forth, so forth. But you want to know what? He respects me as an individual and as a human being. I have a great relationship with the deputy chair, Mrs. Frances Purcell. She will pick up the phone and check on me or call me and ask me a question. But some of you, others, are very, very sensitive. Now, if you hear me say something on the program, an intelligent person who is not in their feelings and ain't getting emotional will say, but wait now. If Kirk is saying that and maybe he ain't fully clear on it, look for the opportunity. This forum is an opportunity for you to share the news of what's happening within the Spice Mass Corporation. So if you hear Kirksita say the vendors complaining, it's an opportunity for you to come and explain why it is you raise the rent to $800 or why it is you're charging things with the mass ban. This is an opportunity. But you all only take the opportunity to get in all your feelings and not looking to grow up the bigger picture. I am not your PR agent. I can be a PR agent if the price is right, but I'm not your PR agent. But I could be a PR agent because I used to be a former CEO. So you should be smart enough to say, you know something, maybe weekly I need to send Mr. Sitahal some talking points. Maybe he needs to clear things up. Because the funny thing is that even if the vendor's getting more for $800, as far as they're concerned, the price gone up to $800. Is we people. You don't understand we people? Stop getting in your feelings and being so sensitive. Look for the opportunity in everything. Look for the opportunity. You hire a whole marketing and PR team. Are they selling talking points to the radio stations and the news outlets every day? Are they? Are they functioning? But no, you want to sit down here and feel like beating up Spice Mass. I have no problem with Spice Mass. I have no problem with Spice Mass where the National Democratic Congress is involved. Because some of you all get sensitive thinking that I'm talking about Spice Mass, I'm beating up the government. I'm not. I have to be very fair. There are some things the government do that I don't agree with. But when it comes to Spice Mass, because I was personally involved, I am so happy to have a government put its money where its mouth is. I'm so happy to see the creative industry soar and take off under this government. I am so glad to see this government investing in Spice Mass, okay? Such an important product that we've had for so many years. So don't get me wrong, and some of you need to stop getting sensitive. We need to be able to talk about the issues straight on without getting in with feelings. So Spice Mass, if you're watching, and I know you'll be watching, some of you, pick up the phone and call Mr. Sitahal. Call right along. Send us talking points because the consensus out there is that nothing happening. We don't know what's happening. Nothing being streamed. Parish events happening and nobody know they're happening. Parish launches. We're not seeing it. Listen, a lot of us on Facebook, but we still depend on the old media. Okay? Grenadians are still a people that has listened to the radio. When we going to work on a morning on the bus, when we going home on the evening drive time, even when we home in we house, we listening to the radio. Okay? I just reminding you. Okay? And that's what irks Kirk this morning. When I come back, I'm going to be chatting with two phenomenal ladies. Don't get, in fact, if all your vexes on your face. But I'm saying, look at the opportunity. This is a platform that could be sharing information. If you feel Mr. Sita, I'll give some information that wasn't wrong. Use the opportunity to correct that information. Don't call Mr. Sita to correct Mr. Sita. Get over yourself. And as I said earlier, they say when people show you who they are, believe them. And I am guilty. I always preach to you all. Friend, make sure you know who your friend is. Have a good one. We'll be right back and we'll be chatting with Sheena Barry. Good morning, and of course, welcome back. We're now going to be joined by Mrs. Curvey Grenada, Sheena Barry, and she recently participated in the Mrs. Curvy Globe. Sheena, welcome to the program. And first of all, let me tell you something. Congratulations. I was beaming with pride, especially when I saw you in your national costume, of course, done by myself, but to see that Grenadian flag soaring among all those other flags, and you did a phenomenal job. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sitahal. I appreciate it, and thank you for working with me. All of your pieces, everybody couldn't get enough of it. They wanted to just touch it. They wanted to, oh, how was this design? How was that design? How was this put together? And I am appreciative of what you would have done for me. I know in the short space of time that we had, but we did a great job, and it was really good holding that flag, and just even if it's just to swing one time, it was fun. It was really fun.
Listen, that pride I felt when I saw you in our national colors and more. And then when I saw that huge flag in your hand, I said to myself, Grenada to the world. You know,
To the
now
world.
listen,
To the world indeed.
to the world indeed. Now listen, you represented us well. Um, you were crowned choice of the people worldwide.
Yes,
Okay.
nationally, yes.
Okay, and I did some read up on the show itself, that during the show a queen can only win one crown.
One crown.
Okay, you were also, well, not crowned, you won the award for personality. Was it
Yes,
personality?
personality of the year. Yes.
Okay, so tell me about those two categories.
Okay, so during the Globe Awards, every queen could be given an opportunity to win a Globe Award. You have to be nominated, and the staff would have been watching you from the time you would have accepted the position of being Mrs. Grenada Curvey. Once I was coronated, they have been paying attention to everything that I have been doing within the community, within Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and not only there, but whatever I was doing in Boston. So
Mm-hmm.
they have been paying attention. And we were awarded, Mrs. Grenada Kirby was nominated for Personality of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, Best Costume. The costume is the very first day that we got there, not besides the 2 days that I did the boot camp, but from the Tuesday, which was the 18th, they had us try on our final night gown and our costume. And they started looking at how my costume was put together. From the time they saw the headpiece, Mr. Sital, it was every country. Can I touch it? Can I have a picture of it? And that was country pride
Mm-hmm.
beaming for me.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, with them just playing with the feathers, with them just looking at the colors, and they wanted to see how the skirt was made, it was really fun. And Miss US of A was who also had a phenomenal piece. Don't get me wrong, I wish she could have won that category, but she
Mm-hmm.
had a phenomenal piece, and it was the competition was between she or I. So being nominated for best costume from a Caribbean country was, it had this feeling that I can't describe, but I was beaming with pride when I had that costume on. So
Mm-hmm.
they were looking on at the costume that I created. Um, and we were also awarded for the media person of the year. So
Okay.
we were nominated in 4 categories. And history, we are the first country, Grenada is the first country. I am the first woman to be nominated 4 times
Mm-hmm.
for awards, and we captured the personality of the year and became the runner up for the best costume.
Okay, well, listen, I know we had 3 days to get everything ready because we were supposed to be traveling together and all of that. And
Yes,
listen, listen, the fact that we topped all the countries, okay, we were the runner up for best national costume, and we couldn't take everything we wanted to because we couldn't take the back piece, we couldn't take all of that because the travel
exactly.
limitations. But let me tell you something, whoever's going next year, we are gunning for that. Now let me ask
Exactly,
let me
exactly.
ask you something, because I saw Miss USA's costume, and she's in her home country. She can transport anything of
Anything.
any size. But listen, you represented us well. I want to know what's next, because I know the Mrs. Curvy Globe, the organization itself, I think it's WIN, does so much. So tell me what's next for Sheena.
So I am now the WIN ambassador for Mrs. Curvy Globe. So going forward, we are going to still be doing our fundraisers. Our fundraisers may be online, it could be in person in Grenada. And remember, the WIN Foundation don't just help people in the United States, we help people throughout the world. And I want to be able to raise funds for people in my country, which is Grenada. And I have been doing it and want to continue doing it. You, Mr. Sitahal, you were part and parcel of me going crazy sometimes just to raise the funds that I need. So yes, we would have raised the funds that I needed to get certain things done and to help people in Grenada as well. So I want my people who were there from the start continue. And with me saying that, I know my cousin is on as well, Bernadine. I want to say a big thank you to my family. You guys hold me together. And even when I thought it was going to be hard going out there in California by myself, you, Mr. Sitahal, and I came up with the best plan.
Mhm.
And that best plan was Preston Andrew. He carried the weight of Grenada. He shouted, he screamed, he cheered me on. And that was my biggest supporter. And I want to say thank you to him and to the rest of the family. But the most of all, I want to say, countrymen, we now have a chance to put us globally on the map. If you want to be a sponsor, and we would put you on that map. We would put you on the globe map where people are going to see you. Let's raise funds together. Let's do things for our countrymen together, not just because I'm a plus size woman that there is no limitation here. This is our strongest foundation that we have. We as women, especially married women, because when we become married, people think that, oh, that's it for you, or if you're a plus size, you're not good enough. Throughout this journey, I had one platform: woman empowerment, but loving who you are. And even in my personality speech from even the pageant boot camp, it was Team Fly. You have to first love yourself. If you can't love yourself, there is no reason for you to be a part and parcel of the WIN Foundation or the Mrs. Globe, because you have to love who you are first before you can decide that, oh, I don't love myself, but I want to help people. How could you? You have
Okay.
to first love yourself.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was happy to be able to follow the journey because I felt like I was there. I think, that international experience to see something as legit as the competition was
Yes.
really good for me. So I'm really hoping that next year we will have another representative for Miss
So next year, we're
Curvey.
not just going to have one representative, Kirk. I am going to work with the organization to ensure that we have a Mrs. Curvey, a Mrs. Classic, and a Mrs. Globe, and
Okay.
then we would go from there, because it is a wonderful organization, well put together, well trusted, and it's prestigious. And it's not if you have been married before and divorced, you can take part in the pageant. You do not have to be a beauty queen. But if you
Mhm.
have a platform that you want to sell and help other people, that would be the best platform for you.
Okay. Now, Sheena, one thing about the competition I noticed, and I know I could tell you this because I'm a big man. Okay? Curvy to us in the Caribbean and curvy to those people in America is two different things.
Well, I would say we in the Caribbean start curvy at
Mm-hmm.
size 14.
Mm-hmm.
But in the US, once you are a double digit,
Mm-hmm.
you are considered to be a curvy woman. So
Okay.
once you pass size 9, so
Mm-hmm.
from size 10 up in the US, you are considered to be a curvy woman.
Okay. Well, Sheena, listen, I want to congratulate you. We're going to be chatting more because, I want to pledge my support in assisting you in selecting next year's representative. Zips, we've got a great team. You've got your cousin Bernadine here on the show. And I know that we can really create that phenomenal team to continue to represent Grenada with pride. I want to
Exactly.
end by congratulating you. tell you that, I am so proud of you. And, I'm talking to you and I'm still seeing you walking on stage with that flag. Okay. And
That was
feeling,
the best moment for me, Kirk. That
feeling
was one of the
really,
best
really good.
moments.
I'm sorry I don't have clips on it because I wasn't authorized to take the clips from the Miss Globe organization, but we will get those clips and we'll share them with you.
Yes, we would.
Folk, we take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking to my longtime good girlfriend, Bernadine Andrew.
All right.
Time etched its story upon the cosmos. There existed a realm where legends were born, a universe bathed in the shimmering light of infinite possibilities, where each twinkling star whispered tales of heroes and their odysseys. Welcome to a journey where galaxies collide and destinies are forged in the crucible of time itself. Welcome to Legends by Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass.
Legends by Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass. By Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass. It's Monday Night Mass. It's Monday Night Mass. Legends assemble and use your powers to defend and break free.
Folk, welcome back. Of course, you're tuned into the Wake Up Club, and I am so happy and delighted to chat with the next guest. She's a longtime girlfriend of mine. We went to National College together, and she is good people. Bernadine Andrew, welcome to the Wake Up Club.
Good morning, Cook, and thank you for having me on your program. Good morning to everyone that's tuned into the live this morning. A blessed good morning to one and all. A huge congratulations once more to Sheena on your achievements, and that achievement was not just for yourself, but for all of us. I am Kobe as well, so I am claiming that achievement. Not just cousin, but as a Kobe Grenadian. You have done well, and let me assure you that Grenadians were really behind you while you were out there, and we are extremely happy that you've come out of it, and you've come out of it, I'm sure, a better person, someone who has learned quite a lot, and we are very happy for you, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can do over the next year while you reign, in your own space, in your own realm, while you do your thing. So congratulations to you as again once more.
Definitely. Now, Bernadine, I know you, but if you have to tell people about you, who is Bernadine Andrew?
Bernadine Andrew is an individual from the parish of St. John. I will start like that. And I'm the mother of two, and I'm the person who says it as I see it. So if you're looking for somebody that's real, it does not get more real than Bernadine Andrew. I'm a fun-loving person. My love is football, and I also love teaching. So I'm always around young people. I lecture in TAMCC as well, and that's just me. I'm easygoing, love to have a good time, but if it is right, I'll tell you it's right, and if it is wrong, I'll tell you it's wrong.
Okay. I also know you have a finance background.
Oh yes. I'm also an accountant. I am a qualified, certified ACCA certified accountant. Chartered accountant. Yes. So I do a bit of accounting as well. I do have clients and where I do accounting. So this is not a program for me to sell myself, but I hope I get a program like that where I can sell myself so I can get some clients.
Listen, I'm always celebrating the phenomenal Grenadian people. That is what this program is about. And sometimes people see people, but they really don't understand who they are. So any opportunity I can give you to sell who you are, take it, my friend. Take it, my friend. Now listen, when I decided to approach you about coming on the program, we were at a town hall meeting in the parish of St. John. And you got up and you spoke. And I said to myself, this is my longtime friend. She tells it as it is, no filters. And we were talking about children and parenting and stuff like that. And I said, listen, this is a perfect person to have on the program. Now, Bernadine, we're seeing a lot of things happening in the country right now. And as a people, we love to place blame on the government because the government is supposed to fix everything that happens in our lives. So we have the gun violence, we have increased crime, we have a lot of different things happening. We have anxiety, we have depression, we have all these things going on. But to me, what I think the breakdown has been in parenting. Give me your thoughts on that.
All right. Well, Kirk, let me thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on parenting. But I want to start this off by saying, however, that there is no perfect parent and there is no perfect child. So if you are on here this morning and you are expecting us to tell you how to be perfect as a parent, that does not exist. I also want to read one verse of scripture from the book of Proverbs. And Proverbs 29:15 says, "The rod and reproof give wisdom, but the child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame." And I believe that a lot of what we are seeing happening in our world today is because of the fact that parents are not parenting. Mothers and fathers are not doing what it is that they are supposed to be doing. The question then becomes, can we blame them? And in some instances, the answer is simply no. Because these parents were not parented themselves.
Okay.
You know? So it is a situation where this has been evolving for over a number of years. This is not something that happened over the last 5 years or over the last 10 years. It has been something that's been evolving for quite a while. And it has to do with, economic changes, among other things that's happening in the world today. So one of the things that you need to be a good parent, Cook, is time. It might seem simple, but that's one of the most important things. The scripture speaks about reproof. And if you do not have time to do that, then you're in problems. So I just want to give you a little scenario, right? And I will start with myself. And I'm starting with myself because of where I live. So I live right now in Douglaston, but I'm from Grand Roy. So I'll use the community of Grand Roy.
Okay.
So you live in Grand Roy, you have a job in St. George's. You have to get to work for 8 o'clock. You have to leave home anywhere between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning to get to that job on time. That is the job that you were dependent on to provide for your children, right?
Okay.
So can you imagine that parent living in Grand Roy 6:30 in the morning, leaving home, and they have a 5-year-old child? What happens to that child from 6:30 until 6 o'clock in the evening when that parent gets back home? Two things can happen. I brought my kids to St. George's with me in the morning. So they came to school in town. So I was able to spend some time with them on the bus, and you have to take the time when you get it. When they came from school, I was able to pick them up and spend time with them after school. So they were always with me, more or less. So I had the time to teach manners, to teach discipline. But what about the parent who leaves that child at home? Who parents that child? The child goes to school, comes back home at 3 o'clock in the evening. The parent doesn't get home until 6. So what happens between that time? Another thing that we have right now again is this breakdown in this family life. Before, when we hear of a community raising a child, a community did not necessarily mean the community of Grand Roy, for example. It meant the extended family structure that existed. So in the yard, you will have the grandparents, you will have an aunt, you have an uncle there. When the child comes from school, they can go there. Now more than ever, it's not like that. So there is because of the changes and the evolution of time, there is a total breakdown. And who are suffering? The kids. So you have a child or you have a young man at 20 years, when he was growing up, nobody took time to tell him or to teach him certain things. So there are things that might be wrong, and he will not even know that it is wrong because his parents did not have the time to take with him to explain certain things to him. And so you have this breakdown, and we are seeing the results of it today. We are seeing the results of the changes in the world today. So a lot of the times, that you leave the kids at home, and a screen is what is growing them up for you. Before we had the television screen. Now we have a screen that is even worse because you have the phone, you have the tablet, and on there you can have the internet. And when you're at home, when you're at work, or you're on the way home, 5 o'clock in the evening, you're on the bus, you might be thinking about what your child is doing at home. But that child is on a tablet, might be looking at porn, might be looking at some program that you yourself doesn't approve of. But do you know? So
But you see, the technology, while it's a good thing, has also become a prop parents use to parent their children. So listen, I don't want to talk now. Here's a tablet, okay? And while the child on the tablet, the parent on the tablet themselves too, doing their own thing. So you're now leaving parenting to a device. So you have to ask who's instilling values, morals, ethics, because it goes much further than that. Even the problems of anxiety and depression and low self-esteem, neglect and abandonment comes from parenting, poor parenting.
Definitely. And Cook, I'm glad you mentioned the word neglect, because currently I'm doing this diploma, and it's called Child Safeguarding. That is a diploma in child safeguarding, and it is a program that I have to do, and it pertains to my job. But
Okay.
yesterday I was doing some studies, and I was studying that there were 4 different types of abuse, and one of the type of abuse was neglect. So you as a parent, you are trying to do what you think is necessary for you to do for survival for your kids, and you leave them home, you leave them at home, maybe unattended, and that is neglect. So in your own way, you're trying to do something that you think is good, but it is having a negative effect on the child. Another type of abuse is emotional or psychological abuse. And what I read yesterday, is that, and after thinking about it, I realized this is so true, that all of the other types of abuse in there is emotional psychological abuse. So even if you are sexually abused, you cannot leave out the emotional or the psychological side of it. So if a child that is neglected does not mean you leave the child on the side of the road, and you go about your business. It doesn't mean that at all. Because just the fact that the child is home unattended, nobody to look after them, nobody to throw eyes, as we say locally, that in itself is a form of abuse, is a form of neglect. So it is tough. It is tough, Cook. It is very, very, very tough. And I mean, let's go back to my little scenario. So I live in Grand Roy, so I have to leave home at 6:30. Think about the person that lives in Sotez. That person have to leave home maybe 5. When do you wake up that child to have a little time with that child, maybe around break? There is nothing as a morning's breakfast where you sit down on the table and you can, converse with your kids. If you're at home and you're a stay-home mom, then there's a total different thing, because there are things that you can now do. But those of us that have to run to get to the job to provide, it's very hard. So
But
there is no perfect parent, at the end
but
of the
but
day.
but do the parents recognize where they're erring? Because even, let's say I understand you're busy on a weekday, but even on a weekend, families don't sit together to eat anymore. And if they're sitting at the table, everybody has that device. So nobody's communicating.
True, true. Very true, Cook. I see one of your somebody's asking where is the father, and it is a father asking that, and I thumbs up to you, huge thumbs up to you for being a father and being a good father to your
Mhm.
kids. I know you, I see you around all the time, but we have to admit that a lot of our fathers are absent fathers, and absent in every sense of the word. I'm not saying absence meaning that they're not in the home. They are absent because not only are they not in the home, they are not providing. They are not calling to find out how that child is doing. They are not. It is not a situation where the mother can call them and say, "Oh, hello, I'm having this problem with your son. I'm having this problem with your daughter. Can you assist?" So thumbs up to you, the good fathers out there. But we all know what's happening. Um, this problem is deeply rooted, Cook, and I really don't know. I do not have the answer. I don't even think that there is one particular answer. So, can you imagine a child at 15 getting pregnant? That child is a child. I mean, that young lady is a child. And she's expected to parent a child who is 10 years and she's only 25. She has not even started to live. How can she parent a child? How can she? And then how society is now. What we do is we give up on them. I said a little earlier on that I lecture in TMCC, and I know that I've dealt with young men who all they wanted was somebody to listen to them. All they wanted was a hug. Some of these young people that we have the worst things to say about, they are just simply misguided. And they have no one to sit with them to show them another side of things. So are we as adults, our institutions failing some of our young people? And I will tell you yes. Because in all of that, what is the role of the community groups? Do we still have community groups that can assist? What is the role of the church? I mean, if I do not go to church, does the church come to me? Does the pastor or the priest in a particular community say, here what? Every Thursday we have in a community day. You can come to the community center where we can speak to kids. Are they reaching out? Are they staying within the walls of the church on a Saturday morning or the Sunday morning? What are you doing? And I think what we do more than ever is to bring down. We have the worst things to say, and we are not helping. We are not assisting. And I remember I said I'm also involved in football. I've been involved in football for almost 30 years.
Mhm.
And it started off in my community of Granroy. It started off with me, with the young men, coming, seeing their talent and deciding to come together with them to form a club. And that club is still existing up to today. You understand? So in that way, you get a lot of them off the streets, and I love to see on a Saturday mornings when they go out, especially now with this new program that they have. I love to see on a Saturday mornings in the fields where you have hundreds of young people doing something positive.
Yeah, I see
You
that. I
see,
see that.
how do we do, sorry, more of that? I believe we have a lot of adults on the program. Let us look into ourselves and see what we can do in our little space. If, as an adult in your community, you are able to help two young men, two young ladies, that's two that can be multiplied.
Mhm.
Because when you teach them, believe me, they're going to speak to their friends.
Mhm.
They will tell their friends, there's another side to this. If they don't know, they cannot. But if they do know, then they can say, they can tell you, well, there's a different side. Fellas, we've been doing this wrong all the time. Fellas, let's do this. You know. So as adults, we have to get to the point where we stop condemning and we start assisting a bit more. We condemn a lot less and we assist more. The institutions really have to come out and start assisting. Even us as parents, you may have a daughter who is 15 and she gets pregnant. What do? You put her out of the house. Is that the
Usually,
best thing? Is that the best thing for her at the time? Is the time when she needs you the most is when you put her out? Do you do your own introspection to see why is it my daughter was able to get pregnant at 15? Were you neglecting that young lady to the point that what she was not getting at home, she had to go out there to get it? The fact that
but but
she's
but
sexually active at
Bernadine,
15.
we also have to look at the role that technology plays in all of this.
Yes, and that
Because
is
if you remember, during our time when you had a house phone, your parents could have monitored how long you stayed on the house phone. Okay? If you were talking to the man on the side of the road, before you reach home, somebody call your parents and tell them they see you talking to somebody. Now that man has access to your 15-year-old daughter 24/7 without you knowing. Because you've given her a device, you haven't given her a lock-off time on the device, okay? And giving her a lock-off time also means that she ain't have the device when she goes to bed in the night.
Yeah.
Because back then he just talking to you. Now with the technology, while the parent comfortably asleep, the man in their daughter's bedrooms, watching them face to face, live video. He
True.
has a greater influence on your daughter because he's seeing her, he's talking to her. And you are unaware.
Right. And another thing to Cook is that us parents, we are so busy that the world is evolving. Things are happening with the technology and we are not staying up to the time, as we say it locally. Mm-hmm. We are not staying up to date with the changes and the trends, you know? So you hear parents say, oh, my child 3 years and he good on the phone, he could do anything on the phone. Can you do what he can do on the phone?
Exactly.
Can you do, you know, the lingo, the jargons that they have now? Do you know those jargons? Can you understand it? Is it possible for your child to be having a whole conversation around you and you thinking it's okay, but you don't know that what you thinking is the conversation is totally different because of the words and the slangs and so that they now use. So us parents, we have to remain educated as well. We have to know what is going on. But again, Cook, you see that thing what we call time that I mentioned? Do we have the time? Or are we too tired after a long day to really do what it is that we have to do?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the topic about parents not knowing a lot of the stuff that the children know because we're not paying much attention or we're not, learning as they learn. Because, I like to talk from personal examples. A lot of young people now, they have the perfect answer to give you, because the information is there. They're bombarded by information. They know just the right answer to give you to appear in control, that everything is going on right. But the truth and the fact is that they have been given the script. The script wasn't available before. I remember dropping my niece to the beach the other day. She wanted, some time out. And I told her, I said, it's a Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Any man you meet on the beach that's chatting up with you, unless he own a business on the beach and he on vacation, he's a bum. Okay.
Yep.
But she had the perfect, uncle, I'm so in tune, I understand, She gave me the spiel to pass an exam. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at her and understanding that, listen, you are saying what I want to hear, but I'm not sure you're living that.
And that happens a lot. Mm-hmm. So we as parents, we have to know our kids. We have to know our kids to the point that we know when they're speaking the truth to us. We have to know when they're taking us for a ride, And a lot of the times, nowadays, you find that people will not tell you about your kids. They will not tell you what they see your kids doing. And that is because of the way you will react when somebody says something to you.
Just put a pin right there, but they're afraid. Because even the teachers correcting children, and listen, some teachers do go above and beyond.
Oh, okay? Yes. Mm-hmm.
But even a child correcting a parent a
Correcting.
teacher correcting a child, the parent reaching the school to make bacchanal.
And sometimes the teacher, the parent doesn't even know the full story. You know, a child comes home to you with a story and immediately you get upset. And then not just upset, but you say all sorts of things in front of that child. What do you think is going to happen? How about you taking what the child says yes and say, okay, tomorrow I will go to the school and I will get the other side of this. I'll try to understand what happened. Because I don't think the teachers are crazy. And the teachers are, I mean, they're adults themselves. I don't think they are crazy. You know, there might be some who will deliberately do something to your child, but they're few, very, very few. So as parents, you go to the school and you find out, and then you realize, no, hey, that your child is wrong. But some of them, they don't even have the understanding to know that their child is wrong. And they're not even willing to hear what actually happened. All they can hear, let's say the child might, oh, the teacher pushed me in the school today. And all you're fixated on is the fact that the teacher pushed your child. You wouldn't even ask yourself, but why would a teacher push my child? You know, some things just doesn't make sense.
But you said it at the beginning, because a lot of these parents didn't have parenting themselves.
Parenting
So they
themselves.
didn't get the emotional, the social, the cognitive, or the educational development needed to even understand a lot of these things, to even be
So
able to
true.
apply it to being parents themselves.
So true. So true, Cook. And the question now becomes, are we as a people doomed? Because is it getting better? Can it get better?
Well, you
Is
see,
it
I don't know if back in our days they used to say you're trying to be like the Joneses. I don't know what has happened. Listen, I like to use personal examples. Back in the days, my job on a weekend was to wash the family car. Okay? Now, in order to get your children to wash the family car, you have to reward them. The
Yep.
same car that dropping them to school, the same car that taking them everywhere, the same car that affording you the opportunity to be able to mine and take care of them, you have to pay them to wash it.
But why as a parent you have to get to the point where you have to do something like that? Why do you think it is necessary um, that you have to do something like that? What? Okay, that you might do that, but what are you trying to teach them? What is the value you're trying to instill in them while doing that? Are you doing it because if you don't do that, they're not gonna do it? Or are you doing that because you want to teach them that they have to be industrious? Why
Amen.
are you doing it? Because I mean, sometimes it could be a good thing that the children do chores around the house, and they rewarded, and it does not have to be. It could be like $1, and you could be doing something positive, because you're teaching them, you're instilling certain values in them. But is it a situation where if you do not, that a child will sit there and not get up? So you as a parent, you listen, like we said up front, the parents, as a parent, you have to parent your child. You have to, you know, and you have to be the parent. You cannot have the children there, and in some instances, the children in charge. How do you deal with that? And you see it, because yeah, a child will go to town, or in the supermarket, or in the you go to the mall, and you see children throwing tantrums. Sometimes the child is 2 years old, and they throw in tantrums. I mean, parenting does not come with a manual, but the Bible does give you a couple verses that you can lean on. And one of those is the fact that it tells you that you have to bend this child, train the child from the time the child is young, so that when they grow old, the teachings will not depart from them. You know, another thing, Cook, that we have to understand is that as a parent, you may have multiple kids. So you have 3 kids, and each one of them requires a different type of parenting. Because what will work for my son, for example, wouldn't work for my daughter.
Okay.
So does parents understand that it is not just a straight jacket? There are some kids you give them an eye and they know it's time to get up and do what they have to do. There are some you have to speak and you could speak soft, and they will get up and do what they have to do. There are some that you have to give them the eye, you have to speak, you have to, and children are different, and then they are defiant in some instances, and they bring it out sometimes to test you, to test you. I remember when my son was about 3 years old. One day he came from school. I was working on, he just started school in Beacon, and I was on the port. And he came and he was pushing the chair because the chair has wheels. It was after evening time, but I was still at work. And he was pushing the wheel, and the wheel stuck. So he said, what? And he used he used a particular word, and immediately he used the word. He looked at me. So I looked at him, and I spoke to him. He came home the evening and used the same word in the presence of his father. And I told the father, say, he used that word for me this evening already. And his father spoke to him. And after that day, I never heard that word from him again. He was literally at that age testing us. So he did it to me, then he did it with his father, and he was testing us to see what our reaction was going to be. And had we not stopped that in its tracks, then it would have gotten worse. He knew
Well,
it. He was at 3 years.
but listen,
And
you want to know what's sad? I see some parents. Well, I can't see parents. Some carriers and sperm donors who like to see that.
yeah, they
They
would
like
laugh.
to see their children
Yeah,
use those words, or they like to see their little daughters 2 and 3. Music, come on, wine, girl,
whining.
wine, wine.
And you don't understand what it is you are creating. You do not understand that you are literally creating what will turn out to be not just your worst nightmare, but society's worst nightmare. Not just your worst nightmare. You do not understand that is what you're creating. I am not a carnival person anymore. I used to be. Used to go to carnival. I no longer do that. But
Okay.
in golf, there is this thing where they call it jump up, and they love it in golf. And I know that the culture of jump up will not die. Unless the government or some authority kills it, it will not die. Because
Okay.
you go in golf, you might be passing through golf and there's a jump up, and there are kids in the band, sometimes 4 years, 5 years. And if that is the way they're growing up, in the next 20 years, that kid will be the adult in the band, and their kids will be the kids in the band, and that will not die. you know so as parents now, we have to be so careful about what we do, and there are times that we accept things as okay, and we accept things because it might be the norm, and it's just not okay.
But you see,
You see.
a lot of this poor parenting does. A lot of parents don't realize that the poor parenting leads to discipline issues, behavioral problems, and sometimes people not being able to have self control.
Cook, this problem that we have is so far reaching, and we can sit here and we can talk about this for the entire day. Poor parenting skills and the lack of parenting in the home also contributes to our kids being growing up without any confidence, being unable to speak up. And sometimes that very child, maybe the child might be a good child, but that child might be abused, and they cannot say what it is that they have to say, because you as a parent, you have not fostered that culture where your child could come to you and can tell you what it is that is happening to them. They might be bullied at school, and they will not come home and say anything to you because you have not encouraged them to speak. So you may have good children, but if again, as a parent, you've lost that opportunity where you can foster that within your child, where your child knows that they can speak to you and they can come to you and they can say what it is that they have to say. There are instances where kids will speak to their teachers, and the teachers are now the ones informing the parents of what is happening to your child.
But
Why is it?
Dominique, a lot of parents will say, no, I'm open. My children could speak to me about anything. But the truth and the fact, they fail to realize that children are sponges. And as
Oh,
parents,
yes.
you are the closest thing to God to that child. So that child is always observing you,
Of course.
observing you how you deal with different situations within the household, how you deal with situations within your own friendship network, how you deal with situations with your significant other. So even though you haven't told them that they can't come to you, by the action that you have
Action.
shown them from things that they're observing, they know that going to mommy or daddy with this isn't going to work out well.
Exactly, exactly. I'm seeing a comment again from a parent, and they're saying as teachers, we are parents, counselors, pastors, coach, and that's true. Because even and it's at all levels. Like I said, I mean, I was a full-time lecturer in TMCC up until 2 years ago, and I
Uh-huh.
had to buy lunch for kids. I remember there was this particular young lady one day, she was in school and she was crying, and I was asking her, well, why are you crying? What is it? And I took her on the side and I started to speak with her, and she said that when she's urinating, she's getting this burning. And she said, but why are you crying? She said, but miss, I can't tell mommy that. I can't tell mommy because mommy already believe that I'm sexually active, and I cannot tell her that, you know? And but she was 18, so there's more things that I could have done with her as because she's 18. So I had a very good friend who is a nurse in the health center in town, and I called and I said, I would like to send a child from the school to you so that you can get her to see the doctor. And she went and I said to her, I said, listen, this is something very basic that's going on with you. This happens to maybe 100% of women. You have a basic infection. Nothing is wrong with you. You just need something to clear it up and you will be fine. And I sent her to the nurse, and she was okay after a couple of days. I've had children crying to me because they think they're pregnant. So when you're in, of course, I've had you. And I said, but listen, I always tell you, I always teach you. Because besides teaching my accounting, I teach life skills as well. I
Okay.
cannot go to a class for an hour and teach just accounting and not teach you something about life. Because there isn't life skills in the schools, So I go and the kids are old enough so I can have a conversation with them about sex education. And one of the things that I say to the students, believe it or not, some people may not agree with me, but one of the things that I say to them is if you are sexually active as of right now, you have to protect yourself. Ensure that you're using your condoms and ensure that you are protecting yourself. If you are not sexually active, then there is time you can wait. It's not running and leave you. It's not going anywhere because sex is always there. But I will not stand in front of a classroom and tell the students, a student who's already sexual, don't do this, don't know. If you are doing it, however, there are certain responsibilities that goes along with it. So this child came to me and she was crying. She thinks she might be pregnant. And I said, but doesn't Miss say all the time, if you are sexually active already, you need to use your condoms? Then why is it that you have put yourself into that situation? You see, you understand? And then I am talking, but there is no reinforcement because it isn't happening at home. So as teachers, we have to do so much more than stand in front of a classroom and teach whatever subject area that we have to teach. And I really appreciate that that comment from that parent, because that parent is also a teacher, so he knows what he has to be dealing with.
We could go on the entirety talking
all day on this. I'm telling
because
you,
we have to. There are a lot of things we need to talk about. Fathers, and the importance of a father in a young female's life. Listen, thank God this program is going to continue, but we're within a time span, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up.
Perfect.
Okay, and we're definitely going to make a date to discuss a lot of other issues that we need to tackle. Folk, we'll be right back.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
folk, welcome back. Of course, you know, it is a terrific Tuesday. I've been chatting with my good girlfriend, Bernadine Andrew, and we've been talking parenting. Listen, we could talk for hours, but you know, the program is 1 hour long. But definitely, I've been looking at the comments. I'm starting to learn to read the comments. I'm new to it. So we're going to be touching on a lot of the things that you guys are recommending, a lot of the topics that you want us to cover. Bernadine, I know you say you're not an expert. I'm not an expert. We are humans going through life and we're learning as we go through life. There must be some sort of hope. What sort of parting words can you leave with parents to encourage them to look at parenting differently? To understand that poor parenting is also why, girl, a lot of the anxiety, the depression, a lot of the neglect is as a result of poor parenting.
Right. Cook, I would like to end this program this morning exactly as I started. We are not all Bible-toting Christians, but we have to remember that someone has us here, the one that, you know, woke us up this morning and give us the breath of life, that we can be alive. And the one that we get when we wake up in the morning, even if we don't say a long prayer, at least we say thanks. And while there is no manual out there on parenting, and that even if there is, it might work on one child and it will not work on the next. There are some basic principles that are enshrined in the Bible. And the verse that we read this morning from Proverbs, I want to leave it with the listeners, the people on the program this morning. And again, it says, the rod and reproof give wisdom. The rod, you know, it's a rod. A rod is a whip. You know, a lot of people now don't think it's wise to beat your kids. You don't have to abuse them, but there are times you may have to give them a lash, you know. But it says that the child left to himself, and that is what we started with this morning. The child left to himself bringeth his parents, bringeth his mother to shame. So please bear in mind, parents, that when you are leaving your kids to grow up themselves in front of a screen, the Bible says that it will bring you to shame. This is what the good book says. And I believe in the Bible. I see the Bible as my chart and my compass. It says that it will bring you as a parent to shame. So you now have to understand that in the Bible, there are a few verses. You can just Google it. Use the same technology. Google verses on parenting and see what you get, see what comes up. And you would realize that you just have to do a few things. You have to find the time to spend time with your kids. You have to be a parent to your kids and not a friend. You know, some parents figure that they have to be their child's friend. But no, you have to be a parent to your child. You have to listen to your children. There are times as a parent when you have to defend your child. And there are times as a parent when you have to say to your child, no, you're wrong. And that is not the way this is done. And you have to apologize to this person. It could be a teacher. It could be just someone on the street. You know? So as parents, there is so much that we can do with the little time that we do have with them, and let's do it. So make little rules at home. So when you're on the dinner table or you're having breakfast, even if you sit down in the living room or in front of the television, you have no screen time. No, put on your phone. We can chat. We can have a conversation. You see? I mean, I have a son that is 17. I know what I'm talking about. The thing about my son is that he loved reading since he was small. So a lot of the time he's on the screen, he's actually reading. He loves Greek mythology. He's always buying books. You know, up to not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, I was with him and we went to a store and he bought a book on Greek mythology, you know, because he likes to read. So a lot of the time he's on the screen. I know he's not, he's reading. Do I know what he's doing on the screen 100% of the times? No. And I'm not going to pretend to you that I know. No, I don't. But you have to monitor and you have to manage. Because there are times you have to say, put that down. And parents will tell you, oh, when they're in the bed sleeping, they think the child sleeping and the child on the screen at 12 o'clock in the night because teachers tell them the child sleeping in the school. Why is your child sleeping? Because no, you take the screen from them. You take the device from them. So your bedtime is 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. You're going to bed. What you doing with that device? So little things like that as parents we have to do. But we cannot lose sight of the fact that we have to discipline our children. We have to find the time to discipline them. We have to teach them the basic rules of life. You know, we have to tell them, you come home with something, I didn't buy it for you. You need to bring it back. It does not belong to you. Where did you get it from? You know, you question. And based on the age of the child, you will go deeper into the questioning. And, you know, there is so much, like I said. Even leaving here now, the parting message could take us another 5 hours. The parting message could take us. But
listen, we're going to do this again. Okay, we're going to do this again.
I believe we can. And one of the things that I would like us to do is the course that I tell you I'm doing, the diploma that I'm now doing on, and it's so coincidental. Cook did not know about this, doing this until I mentioned it here this morning. So I did not come onto this program as any expert. I came onto this program as a parent of 2 kids. My daughter is 28, my son is 17. And I'm not perfect as a parent. So when I came on here, I had no idea. But I would really like us to delve a bit into some of the things that we are doing in this course that I'm doing on child safeguarding. You know, some of the different types of abuse, things that we do, not involving children in decision making because we are the parents. That's something that we need to look at. Is it okay to involve a 10-year-old child in a decision that you have to make about them? And the answer is yes. There are times that you have to make the decision on your own, and you say this and that's a gospel rule. Yeah. But there are times that you have to involve them.
Well, definitely, you know, Bernadine, we are going to chat again. I want to thank you for blessing us this morning with your presence and words of wisdom. You know, neither of us are experts. We're humans channeling life like everybody watching this program. As you said, there's no perfect parent. There is no manual, but we've got to do better. I want to thank you for joining us this morning. I want to thank my other guest, Sheena Barry. I want to thank you, the viewers, for tuning into the Wake Up Club. This is about empowering people, growth. I want to encourage you to find the greatness within yourself. And I want to tell you and encourage you to have a terrific Tuesday. Have a good one, and we'll see you on the Wake Up Club on Friday morning. Bye, folks.
Here's Excursion and Tours weekly e-bike rides. Gather your family and friends for an unforgettable ride through stunning landscapes. Book your adventure today at ridersabike.com or call 473-422-1011. Don't miss out. Let's ride.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily pick 3 cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play pick 3 cash flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money day.